Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Sass, the host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am a certified life coach who loves to come every single Sunday to talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. So I hope everybody is doing well. I know it's been 2 weeks since I think last time we talked because I was traveling and then it was Mother's Day. I hope all the mothers had a fantastic Mother's Day. My kids are funny, so I did have a great Mother's Day. They decided to cook for me. Child, we're not gonna talk about that, but it was great. And my sons know I love roses, so of course they came through with the roses. So it was just a great Mother's Day. So I can't even believe, like, I don't know about you, but I cannot believe it is like almost the middle of May. And what I want to talk about is something that I've been working on with myself. I haven't been posting a lot lately because I have been working, okay? Working behind the scenes. And one of the things that I have been consistently working on, I would say for the past couple of years, is stretching myself. So today I want to talk about, like, are you being stretched? Are you stretch yourself? And you're like, what does that mean, being stretched? That means not settling, not being in your comfort zone, going outside of the norms to allow yourself to be exposed and expanded beyond what you know today. So, and this came up because I'm telling you, like, I think I've stretched myself so much. Like I'm in a whole new dimension at this point. That's what it feels like to me. You know, I talk about paradigm shifts all the time, but I feel like I'm in a whole new life, a whole new world. I'm thinking thoughts I never thought about. I'm seeing things come to fruition that I never would have imagined. But now my imagination has taken off. Like when you talk about thinking big, I'm over the moon at this point into a whole nother galaxy. But that was not my thought patterns even 10 years ago. I feel like I've always had a need for more, but it wasn't as focused as it is now. And the need for more was more, just being very honest, in the material world, but now the need for more is the knowledge. The need for more is being in the rooms with the movers and the shakers and the people who are just like, there is so much more than what you are seeing around you, but bigger than that, they are the people who believe, like me, that you can have heaven here on earth. I do not subscribe to that, oh, we living in hell stuff and everything is so bad. Like, I don't subscribe to that. And it's so great because I think that because I've allowed myself to be stretched, it's putting me in the rooms with like-minded individuals. There is nothing that more important than putting yourselves in the room with the people who are going in a trajectory that you want to go. If you don't like the way your life is shaping up now, if you don't like the people, places, and things that you are around, it is your responsibility to change that. Right? And it starts by being stretched. It starts by knowing that you don't have to live in any sort of hell. And it was never subscribed for you to do that. There is nothing that says that you have to die to experience heaven. You can have it right here on earth. But that is a choice that you get to make. So, some of the things that, so it's like, well, what do I do to get stretched? Of course, there is the reading books, right? I am an advocate for reading. And I do listen to some Audible. I'm not going to say that. But the reason why I love reading books as opposed to just listening, because sometimes when you're listening, you're continuously multitasking and sometimes you're missing great information when you're doing that. So I love to sit with a book in silence and take my time and be focused in on the words. And most times the words leap off the pages into my spirit. I'm just going to say it, right? So reading books. And there is also, for those of you who love to listen and you love Audible, YouTube, stretch your mind, right? the thing that I love the most, I mean, of course, I feel like, education is also a way to expand yourself. As a matter of fact, I believe in continuing education in whatever field that you are in, whatever field that you want to get in. It is your job to get yourself in the rooms to know what's coming next in your industry, what's going on in your industry. It's not just doing the work. One of my clients, she wants to get into, the trucking industry. So I'm like, well, you got to research your industry. Who's doing it big? Who is maxing out all out capacity in your arena? You have to research that. What type of courses are they offering? What, are they putting on events? I'm going to tell you right now, conferences is huge. I've met some of the most beautiful. Forget the fact that they're 7 and 8 figure women, real talk, but some of the most beautiful spirited people at conferences. Get yourself in the room. It's funny because I recently was just in the room and there's a lady, her name is Dr. Shamika Dean. I believe that she's out of Atlanta. She said the rooms that you sit in will be a reflection of your revenue. I'm going to say it again. The rooms you sit in will be a reflection of your revenue. So if you're not earning at the potential in which you desire to earn, you're in the wrong room. Period. It is not the government's fault. It's not the job's fault. It's not it's not everybody else. It's you not making the decision to say, I desire more. I can go out and create something in order to have the more. But that takes initiative. That takes focus. That takes discipline. That takes drive. But most importantly, it takes you creating your vision for your life. You have to create, listen, one of the greatest books of all times, the greatest book I've ever read in my life that I read continuously every single day, always, it will never go away, said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. Write your vision. There is so much in the power of the written and spoken word. You have to write that thing down. You have to speak it, and then you have to walk as if it's already here. Okay? But this is all about expanding yourself. Get outside of the norms of your city. I know people who have never left their hometown. I can never understand that, right? And I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that you can't sit in that space and then complain about the space that you're in as if you don't have the freedom to move, as if your mind is not big enough to expand outside of what's happening right around you. But that takes for you to make a decision to say, I'm no longer going to be in this lack mentality. It takes for you to make a decision to understand that you have more freedom than you can ever imagine. Pick yourself up and move. Stop talking to the same people. I promise you, I'd rather talk to the four corners in the walls of my home than to sit around people who consistently complain and drain, who consistently say, oh, I can't do anything, who consistently complain about a job as if they can't create a future for themselves, right? Or as if, I'm not saying that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, because child, let me tell you something, this roller coaster right here is not for the weak of heart. However, it's not as if you cannot go find another place of employment. No, you are not stuck. You're just refusing to be stretched. Okay? So it takes a mindset makeover. Most of you need a mindset makeover. Whatever you believe is true. Whatever you believe is true. So, and it sounds cliches, but it's real. I know I heard people like, oh, don't say cliches. But some of these cliches are straight real. The moment I started to believe that I could have better, the moment I started to believe I can do better, the moment I started to believe that there was more to life than what's just sitting around me, was the moment that stuff started to usher in. So yes, it may sound cliche, but how about this? Holla at me, honey. I went from welfare to winning because of that cliche. Because if you believe that you don't deserve it, if you believe that you are not worthy, if you believe that you can't have more, if you believe you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Now, some of them cliches needs to go, okay? Come on, somebody, today. Some of them old cliches needs to go, okay? If you believe that you got to go be your paycheck to paycheck, then that's exactly what you're going to have. So call it a cliche, baby, but I'm here to tell you that some of these cliches is real. You're not where you want to be because of your mindset. You're not allowing yourself to be stretched. There's programs that you can go to. Listen, I went to an emotional intelligence program by a company called Next Level. I promise you, it took me to the next level. But because I'm willing to be open-minded, because I was willing to shift my mindset to say, hey, listen, no one's really in my way. It's me. It's me. Even down to, we're going to talk about it for a half a second, even down to relationships. Keep it real. It was because of the choices that I was deciding to make, choosing from a particular space, choosing not from my higher future self, but from, some of the traumas and triggers that happened in my life. I will never blame anybody for my relationships not working out other than the man in the mirror. It was the decision and choices that I made. I don't have time to harbor no guilt. I'm like, listen, how about this? Okay, you made a decision. That decision didn't work out the way you thought it should go. Let's look at that as divine protection and move forward. How about that? Move forward, making a better decision. Because here's the thing, especially when you have to apologize to yourself, child, listen, sometimes you have to literally apologize to yourself for the things that you accepted in your life. But the best apology is change behavior. So once you know better, you do better. Because some people say, well, why did you find yourself in certain situations? Well, listen here. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. It's real. It's real. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you can't beat yourself up for it nor the other person. What you get to do is learn from it and move forward from it. That's it. That's all. And not staying tied to that space in that time. Move on. I'm quite sure they have. I'm just saying. A lot of times, it's particularly women, we find ourselves stuck in that same space and place from that last relationship. Meanwhile, they've gone on and living their best life. Try it. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. And there's another way to stretch yourself. Get a system of accountability around you. Get with a life coach. Get with a therapist. Okay? Stretch yourself. Because getting in those rooms also will help you move out of the mindset that created the choices that you made. Because you don't know what you don't know. So be open to that and then put yourself in those rooms. Okay? Because you can only expand to the point of your exposure. But once you've been exposed, you can expand. How about that? I'm going to say it again. You can only expand to the point of your exposure. But once you've been exposed, you can expand. Because I'm exposed to these beautiful 7-8-figure women, I promise you, I'm about to expand. And I've already expanded beyond what I could have ever imagined. This wasn't my mindset before. I'm keeping this real with y'all. My mindset wasn't on no millions before. That's really being real. It wasn't until I was exposed. I was exposed to a man who was like, listen, I'm about being a millionaire. I don't know what you want, but this is where I'm headed, right? It's like, wait a minute. Okay. But because of that level of exposure, it helped expand my mind. And so now I'm on this continuous journey of, stretching myself beyond belief. And let me tell you about stretching yourself, especially for those of you who are doing continuing education. I am a professional member of the National Speakers Association, right? But so I've been to a speakers academy. I know how to speak per se, but things change. I was on the call this morning and they said information expires, right? So then you have to do continuing education. So I put myself in a new program. And I went in there, I ain't gonna front y'all. Literally, this is the first time and I bombed. I was right? And other people were hitting it. What did that teach me? I'm sharing this with you because I want you to do the same thing for those of you who are like me, or I like to knock it out the park the first time. That I know people don't believe in zodiacs, but my Leo all the way kicks in sometimes. It's like, what, you don't know who this is? You don't know who I am, right? But I digress. But what it taught me was, because other people were hitting our bomb, number one, stop comparing yourself to the people in this room. Period. Some people hit it all the time and don't hit anything in real life, if that makes sense, right? So some people can talk the game, but there is nothing to show for that. Number one, right? Stop comparing yourself. Number two, I didn't come here to be perfect. I came here to be stretched. Somebody need to hear that today. When you walk in any sort of environment, whether you're going to work with a therapist, whether you're going to work with a life coach, whether you're going to join a program, you're not going there to be perfect. You're going there to be stretched. So go there being who you are. I know it takes knowing who you are to kind of walk in some of those doors to understand what I'm saying, but be you. Because the point is for them to help polish you up, to help you get better. It's the purpose is just like me, the reason why I come here every Sunday, to help you better your best. And a part of helping you better your best is talking to you about all these things, and then for you to take this information and to apply it. Not for you to take this information and look at it like, well, man, she knows more than me, or I'm a failure because I don't do X, Y, and Z. That's you comparing your life to somebody else's, and you can't do that. And here's why you can't do that. Because God set up a lane for you. God set up a lane for you, and it's only for you. But if you start looking in everybody else's lane, you're going to mess up your divine gift. I promise you. I promise you. And listen, for those of you, because I'm a believer, okay? For those of you, I don't care who it is you believe in. I always say there must be a power that's higher than yours. But I promise you, whoever that power is, whatever name you call it, there's a lane specifically built for you. And if you keep looking in everybody else's lane, it's going to slow you down. Why? I'm talking from experience, y'all. You got to hear me. It's going to slow you down because when you start to get overwhelmed by what everybody else is doing and how they're doing it, and you're not where you think you're supposed to be, it puts you in a place where you now are going to be stuck, not able to move. You're going to procrastinate. You're not going to trust your decisions. You're not going to trust your intuition. You got to get in your lane, okay? So, I know for some of you, you're like, okay, listen, Mo, I need for you to give me some steps. Like, I hear you, but I need some practical steps. So, number one to being stretched, step outside your comfort zone. What are some of the ways you can step outside your comfort zone? Some of the simplest things. If you are a person who drives to and from work, or if you have children, drives them to activities, take a new route. Don't go the same route. Don't go the same way. If you always use your GPS, turn it off. Try something different. Okay? If you always go to the same stores to shop, go to a new store. Try something different. It could be that simple as stepping outside of your comfort zone. How about go meet someone new today? Everybody keep talking about no new friends. I'm going to tell you something right now. That is not my policy. Because the new people who have walked in my life, honey, have changed. First of all, people have to understand this. I want to say this because people talk about support all the time, right? People think support looks like money. Support looks like buying something. I promise you, the biggest support system you could ever have is someone who can walk in your life and help shift your mindset, which helps shift your DNA, shifts your legacy, shifts the things that you are doing so that it will trickle down to your children's children's children. I promise you that is the biggest level of support you could ever have. That's why I'm talking about no new friends. I'm not on that. Because the women that I've met have supported me so much so they haven't given me a dime, but they've given me knowledge. I just talked about Dr. Shamika Dean. Being in the room with that beautiful spirit gave me another outlook and a way to think about my expansion. What that's going to do for me, because I'm an executor. If you give me something, it may take me a minute, but I'm going to put it into action. Is because it's going to change me. It's going to change everybody that touches me. I need y'all to start thinking about support levels at this point. Now, yes, you want people to, I think it's great. Like I always say, like people don't share my content or whatever. It would be nice. But here's the thing. If I'm saying something that's helping to change your mindset, to help you change everybody that touches you, real talk, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good on that. But see, you have to get there. Because if you do it for the likes, then that's another thing. Or again, you're going to get outside of your lane. God said, go speak. I'm going to speak. Does it bother me sometimes? I wouldn't be human if I didn't say it didn't bother me. But God reminds me why he has me doing it. Okay? So that's number one. Step outside your comfort zone. Do something new. Number two, continuing education. I talked about that. I don't care what industry you are in. You need to be brushing up on the skills of your industry. You need to step in. You'll be like, oh my God, yet another program. Hey, listen, if it's going to take your business your mindset to the next level, why are you not continuing your education? I'm not talking about traditional education all the time either. It's okay if you're talking about associates, bachelor's, master's, PhD. It's not always just that. Continuing education courses could be, like I said, going to these conferences and doing different things in your industry, right? Like I told you, I had a client who's looking to get into the trucking industry. So I found some people who are doing the best in her business. I'm like, hey, listen, check this person out, right? Because here's the thing, success leaves clues. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? That's number two. Number three, be open to getting feedback. I'm only giving you three. Be open to getting feedback because that feedback is going to stretch you. By me being open to getting feedback, I'm going into this speakers program. And let me tell you something right now. I'm open, like I have to be open to this feedback. Like you're not as sweet as you think you are. Like, okay, you all right, but you could be doing this, and this. Okay? And I have to be open to that and not take it personal. You can't walk in these rooms and want to be stretched and go, but they don't like me. You cannot do that to yourself. You have to step into these rooms and be open to feedback. And let me tell you something. Some of the best things that can happen to me, I don't know, I'm a little bit different, y'all. One of the best things I ever heard about myself is, I don't really think you can be a speaker. You don't communicate well. I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. And guess what I'm doing now? Speaking. Have an engagement coming up this week. I'm talking to you. Can I get better at it? Absolutely. But that's the point of it. There's no perfection. So you can always better your best. Follow me? I really hope you do. Because it is time for some of you to stretch yourself. Get outside your comfort zone. Go visit another state. Go visit another city. Some of this stuff don't require a lot of money, y'all. I know them gas prices, right? I know people, I hear you about those gas prices, but here's where I'm going to challenge you. What can you create to bring in the revenue to take care of those gas prices? See, that's why I don't worry about a gas price. Not that I'm have so much. No, my mindset is I can create what I want. I want gas money. I can create a system or something that can happen where I can bring that in. But it takes for you to A, step outside your comfort zone. B, continue and do something new, right? And B, continue your education and be open to feedback. Stretch yourself. It is 2022. There should be no one speaking or thinking in lack mentality. It's too much out here that can help take you to the next level if you're willing. If you can stop saying, looking at people who are doing it like, oh, they just talking cliche. Understand. Understand some of these cliches is real in these streets. What you believe is the truth. Period in the story. If you believe you can better your best, you will. If you believe that you can be a millionaire, you will. If you believe that you can live a life of abundance, of love and happiness, you can have it. If you believe that you can have a marriage that people going to write books about, you can have it. Listen, I speak that over my life. And this is where I'm going to leave you at. Life and death is in the tongue. Speak life over yourself. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in the group, right? There's a Christian dating group where it's not really a dating group. They teach Christians how to intentionally date and stuff. I'm in the group and I'm listening to these people. They're sitting there talking about, well, there ain't no good men and ain't no good women. Okay, that's exactly why you haven't found any. I said what I said. You know how many people are on the planet, and you're going to tell me that there are no good people? I'm sorry, I cannot subscribe to that. And you may say, where are they? Put yourself in a new room and see if you'll find them. How about that? Put yourself into a new room and see if you'll find them. Put yourself into a new mindset to help you discern quickly when the ones that come is not really for you, who are not in alignment, because I'm going to just keep this funky. Most times we feel that way because we pick people who are not in alignment with where we're headed. If you pick somebody that's completely not in alignment with your vision, let's put it there, with your vision, then what you think is going to happen? If you had a vision to have somebody who was spiritual, authentic, vulnerable, right, an effective communicator, and you get somebody that don't like to talk, don't want to read the Bible, not going to a church, if that's your thing, right? And then you're like, well, why didn't it work? And I'm like, hello, somebody. You didn't pick somebody that was in alignment with where your vision is, okay? So to wrap this up, I really hope that you make a decision to step out and stretch yourself. I hope you have the most amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you next week. If you want to get in touch with me, www.mosass.com for life coaching. You can email me if you have questions, info@mosass.com. I am on Facebook and Instagram, Life Coaching with Sass. I hope you have a great day.